Give me a sec, folks. Okay, how about... Ah, there. Now you should be able to hear me. Great. Oh, I don't know why my computer does that sometimes. It's like it just decides to switch microphone access off. So annoying. Anyway, I think you can hear me now. Thank you so much, everyone. Happy Mother's Day to the UK squaddies. And anyone else who observes. I don't know if other countries observe it, but if you do, happy Mother's Day to you. Well, observe it on this particular Sunday. But if you do, happy Mother's Day to you. And to all the women who mother in different ways, not just their own children. They mother their communities, the aunties, the pet mums, all the mums who give their love and labor. But of course, to the mothers that raised us. Thank you so much, Caroline, for being a member for 40 months. I can't believe it either. You all just humble me, forever surprise me. I can't tell you honestly, folks. Sometimes I feel like a bad podcaster. Because I can't always show up the way I want to. Like if you notice the last couple of days, I have just been exhausted. Um, y- you know, I think people glamorize being in the tropics. And it's lovely on a lot of days, but you know, not everybody acclimatizes. Even though I've been here before, not everybody acclimatizes as quickly. Having to navigate different culture, having to navigate finding community, like all of these things, it really does weigh on you. And so I can't always show up for this podcast in the way that I would want to. Um, but you all are just always so patient regardless, so giving regardless. And that's what keeps me going. So I appreciate you, all of you, so much. New and who have been here uh, for a much longer time. But for those of you that continue to stick by after all this time, appreciate you so, so much. Oh, US celebrates in May. Okay. Right, let's get into today's podcast. There's quite a few things to get through because I haven't been around, but as usual. Does that mean that things haven't been happening? Of course not. Of course not. Lots has been happening. For example, once again, oh my goodness, once again, William being heckled. Let's have a look at this before we get into anything else.
Charlie, Charlie, Charlie! 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 Charlie, Charlie, Charlie! Charlie, Charlie, Charlie! 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 Charlie, Charlie, Charlie! Doesn't work so well with Willie, Willie, Willie,
Okay, I actually played the wrong piece of footage there. That was at the Commonwealth Days, I believe. I thought that was a piece of footage um calling out William, but I think it actually loaded the wrong piece of footage. Nonetheless, yeah, the Royals really did get heckled during that Commonwealth service. Them yelling Charlie out, somebody yelling parasites. And I think this is the right clip that I was meant to play. I do apologize. I think this is the clip, the more recent one.
How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein?
William, have you been covering for Andrew? William, have you been covering for Andrew? Have you been covering for Andrew, William?
Okay, so once again, you see, and we're seeing this over and over and over again. Um, First of all, shout out to everyone who is continuing to try to hold the royals responsible for their role in covering up for Andrew. Um, I think this is really important. They need to be made uncomfortable. They can't just keep carrying on like this and behaving like nothing's happened. And that's essentially what they want. And I said that this was the plan from the very beginning. They were going to create this whole media storm, this fake illusion of accountability. And then they were going to create some other distractions, hopefully hoping that the whole Andrew saga would go away. And that's basically where we're at now. We're at the hoping it will go away phase. And so it's very important that we make them very uncomfortable. They can't feel like they can just go out and continue their their propaganda, all of this. And I'm going to show you some clip stuff that they've been up to this week. They can't be made to feel comfortable. They need to feel uncomfortable wherever they go from now on. But as you also heard in that clip, you had somebody say, oh, don't ruin it for everyone. And this is the really, really sad thing about people that they're just not willing to question the royal institution. You have an institution that lies, cheats, steals from the British public and even between each other. And they would rather believe that Meghan is the villain than this 1,000-year-old institution with all the power that it has been doing anything problematic. They would rather believe that a 5-foot-something woman from California was a bigger problem than a very powerful institution that robs from you every single day. That covers the S crimes of its family members. That is aligned with so many criminals. And when I hear that man say, don't ruin it for everyone, don't the royals ruin a lot for everyone all the time? Oh, don't give us the reality. Don't give us truth. We can't handle that. Helen, you said, and what's happened now is the royal family are not announcing their whereabouts in advance in order for, so that Republic don't know where they're going. Exactly, because Republic promised. They were like, we're going to be wherever you go. And they've kept their promise. So this is why you now have them popping up at places like Borough Market to give people beer and give people coffees and all of this nonsense. What impact is any of that going to have? Let me tell you now, some foodie Instagram influencer showing up to Borough Market is going to have more of an impact for the businesses in Borough Market than the royals showing up. There's actually a stall in Borough Market, if you've ever been there, where they sell chocolate covered strawberries. And that stall literally went viral because influencers were going there and getting their chocolate covered strawberries. Influencers are driving the economy of Borough Market more than the royals showing up to give people coffees ever would. And that just shows the disparity of the influence of influencers who are practically just everyday celebrities now versus the actual royals. Because if Kate and William were going to show up to a place like this, at the very least, I would expect that, they're going to try and promote businesses, but nobody's really interested in following what the royals are doing. And there's nothing organized about what they're doing anymore. They're just showing up here, showing up there. There was let's look at some of the pictures. There's pictures of, Kate standing on something where she's mixing something. I don't know what she's mixing, some kind of food, or is that a brewery, or what's going on here? She, poured William a coffee, and and William told her to sell the coffee, completely dismissed her and embarrassed her in public. I mean, how long have William and Kate been together now? Over 2 decades and a half? She doesn't know how he likes his coffee? And then him dismissing her in public? I mean, you could have just taken the coffee, mate. Why embarrass her in public like that? It's like two college kids being forced to do a presentation together. I would have thought if they've come to an agreement to stay together, they would at least fake it a lot better in public. Well, at least Kate is. I think William's just given up. He stopped. He can't be bothered anymore. If you're going to stay together for the image, I'm sorry, but there's going to have to be effort on William's side. Now, shout out to this this lady. I don't know who she is. She has gone viral for enjoying her food and not giving a 2 cents that William and Kate were right there. And you know what? That would be me too. That would be me too. Just enjoying my food and being completely unbothered. I mean, somebody said in the comment section, what did you say about they've gone back to the old playbook before? Sorry, I missed who said that. Somebody said they've gone back to the old playbook. Electra. They are going back to their old playbook, going after Harry and Meghan to cover up. Well, that's all they really have to fall back on. Because if this is the best that the royal institution has for us, they're going to have to find some other distraction. But at this point, I don't think it's going to work. So, at Borough Market, they stopped by a coffee stand and Kate learned how to make a cappuccino. When she then offered it to her husband, saying, I've made a coffee for you, William, he responded by asking, is it decaf? She said no, and he told her to sell it instead. Ouch, he wouldn't even take a sip of the cappuccino to be polite. Kate wasted a decade of her life for this humiliation. Now, notice the apron she's wearing in the bottom picture. Mumble crumble. Somebody finally made Kate her own merchandise. So the second story was Kate talking about her reduced alcohol consumption. At the brewery, she avoided taste testing and left it all up to William. She said, since my diagnosis, I haven't had much alcohol. It's something I've had to be a lot more conscious of now. Right after she said that, she turned to William, patted his knee, and said, but you like your cider, don't you? Sounds like William didn't cut back his alcohol consumption during Kate's health problems. I also wonder if Kate stopped drinking because of that still mysterious abdominal issue which started the whole ordeal in 2024. And, while they were at Borough Market, several people just flatly just ignored them, continued eating their lunch snacks. What happened to Wells Mania? I mean, much respect to the people who just carried on minding their business. Shout out to that ginger queen. I just noticed that she's ginger. Shout out to that ginger queen. Were they bothering you, queen? The real queen in the situation. Give her the crown. It's crazy. If Kylie Jenner Kylie Jenner showed up to Borough Market or anywhere in London completely unannounced, there would be a crowd within a few hours. I mean, there was honestly a time when it was like Beatles mania when the royals would go out. Back in the Queen Mother days. I think that started to the Queen Mother days and the Diana days. That slowly started to erode after Diana. It's actually been a very slow down since Diana's death. And that has accelerated with the way Harry and especially Meghan have been treated. Let Harry and Meghan fly over and go spend a few hours at Borough Market and look at the crowd that will surround them. I mean, we will see again, like we saw on their last Oceania tour, when Harry and Meghan touched down in Australia, the disparity in the crowds. Lottie, you said, and they're only making a fool of themselves. The only thing they're doing is making Meghan more popular. Meghan is a powerful woman. Yeah, so powerful, Tom Bower still cannot keep Harry and Meghan out of his mouth. I've been a little bit out of the loop, so I didn't really know what was going on with Tom Bower. But as I get into this next part of the podcast, please remember that Tom Bower once said out of his own mouth, "It's Meghan I'm after." He said that. And now it would appear that after staying rather silent about Tom Bower, Harry and Meghan's people are clapping back against this obsessed fool. So, let's get into this. Tom Bower, by the way, Petal from Facts and Two Cents, confronted him because he went all the way to Invictus in Vancouver. And for what? For people who you say you don't like? Who you don't like but pay your bills. The Tom Bower crossed the line from criticism to fixation. I mean, I would say that is most of the Royal Rota rats. But I mean, Tom Bower isn't an official Royal Rota. I call him the alley cat Royal Rota. So the Times of London published a preview of Tom Bower's latest book. Oh, so he has another one. Another one? I mean, was his last one even selling that much? For years, I've referred to Bower as a rotten old fart, and I stand by it. For years, Bower has been singularly devoted to lying about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, denigrating them and attempting to obliterate them. Oh yeah, it's his own words, by the way, that Harry and Meghan need to be obliterated for the sake of the monarchy. He said no such thing about Andrew. Bower is quite literally the dregs of royal media, and it's painful enough to see the British tabloids publish and promote his deranged ratings and blatant lies. For the Times to publish an expert is particularly gross, because the Times is supposed to be a more legitimate British outlet. Well, in the past 15 months or so, Prince Harry and Meghan have finally changed strategies, and they're now regularly pushing back and disputing lies and misinformation on the record. Hours after the Times published the piece from Tom Bower's book, the Sussex's spokesperson issued this statement. She said, "Mr. Bower's commentary has long crossed the line from criticism into fixation. This is someone who has publicly stated the monarchy, in fact, depends on actually obliterating the Sussexes from our state of life. The language that speaks for itself. He has made a career out of constructing ever more elaborate theories about people he does not know and has never met. Those interested in facts will look elsewhere. Those seeking deranged conspiracy and melodrama know exactly where to find him. In the once respected Times." Ouch. Ouch. But well deserved and well said. Because you cannot promote yourself as an outlet that is meant to be well respected while given space and room for misinformation, lies, and gossip fodder that is typically placed within the pages of the Daily Fail and the Sun. So on Twitter, somebody pointed out that GB News was one of the few outlets, American or British, to publish the Sussex's statement in full, which is crazy as well, and it speaks to how many outlets fear Harry and Meghan speaking for themselves and pushing back on the decade-long hate campaign. The Sussexes are correct that Bower has been and is now fixated with them, and everyone has known for years that he's making this ish up as he goes along. This is actually another reason why Harry and Meghan need official social media outside of just Meghan's personal page. Whether it's through Archer Philanthropies or Office of Harry and Meghan, Instagram, Twitter, they need it. I see no reason at this point why they don't have it, because it would be such an easy way for statements like that to be spread further. I don't believe that outside of our royal bubble, a statement like that even really reaches far, especially if mainstream tabloid outlets aren't even reprinting it. How are people meant to hear the pushback? They need social media outside of Meghan's Instagram. I don't think that Meghan's Instagram should be the space for statements like that, but they need a space online for statements like that. They can lock off the comments if they want to, but they need it. And I just hope someone in their circle hears this and finally does it. Because it's almost like you're giving these statements, but they're going into the void, to be honest. Like, if you lot listening now, if you weren't in this royal space, would you know that Harry and Meghan spokesperson put this out? So Tom Bower is the biggest... Oh gosh, I think I have taken something off the screen. Hang on a sec. Tom Bower is the biggest fall between her and London and back. He even looks stupid. Her and London and back. Are you referring to what's her face? What's her face who went to LA? Yeah, Tom Bowell. I love the nicknames. Tom Bowell and Angela Latrine would be a perfect couple, actually. Two gorgeous lovebirds. They should get together. We should do like Love is Blind or 90 Day Fiance for the Rotarats. Tom Bowell movement is a mouthpiece for the royals, but even his theatrics cannot distract from the Andrew scandal. Well, I mean, they're trying. Helen, you said, I should imagine Harry and Meghan's lawyers will go through the Bowers book with a fine-tooth comb to see if they need to take things further, like suing. Well, we know that Harry and Meghan picked their battles very carefully, so we'll see about that. Mad, you said, disagree, it will just attract more derangers and hate bots. They can lock the comments. They can lock the comments. Yeah, when Harry and Meghan were in Vancouver, he flew all the way there. Electra, you said, do you think one of the women of the Royal Rotarats will go to the retreat in Australia? You can absolutely bet they will try and send one person there. You can bet they will. Now, whether or not she will be let in is another thing, because to my understanding, you have to pre-register. So I think they've probably got a banned list. Definitely the folks from the Daily Fail will be banned. And anyone who typically bullies Meghan online, and there's quite a long list of different women from Australia, the US and the UK in particular. And if any of their names comes up, I think they will likely get banned. And anyone who is on a watch list who has shown themselves to be a danger or obsessive over Harry and Meghan will also hopefully get banned. Do you know, having said that, do you know who I just thought about? You know who I've not thought about for a while? Sophie Chandauka. What's happening to us? Where is that woman? Where is she? Does anybody know where Sophie is? Has the money run out? That's what I think about every time I think of Sophie Chandauka. Has the money run out? Is somebody still funding her? What's going on with her? Yes, it was indeed sold out in 48 hours. Boom. And just a reminder that when it comes to these types of events, Meghan is not new to this. She's true to this. She was doing this type of stuff before she was in the royal fold. But shout out to Harry, Meghan's spokesperson, and I love this. I love this approach. So as for the actual part that was published, it was about Invictus, and Invictus issued their own statement. Bauer tried to drag them into his buffet of BS2 and they aren't having it. I mean, it's disgusting to go after anything that helps veterans. What is there to attack? But obviously, Bauer is still obsessed with blaming Meghan for ripping apart the Windsors with her very presence. One of the biggest headlines in the Times was actually about Queen Camilla being a bitch about Meghan. Surprise, that's probably the only truthful statement here, that Camilla was a huge part of the hate campaign against Meghan, indeed. Yeah, Bauer is a liar. And he's a liar that I think will get his comeuppance. His time is coming. Imagine spending your life just being this miserable and this obsessed. And I do believe that he is probably being paid off for or by the other royals. Okay, in much nicer news, Meghan visited a children's hospital. Let's have a look at the pictures. She visited some of the kids in their wards and also was reading her book. Oh, no, not her book. She was reading a book to the kids. And remember in October 2024, she was a surprise guest at a gala fundraiser for the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, and she wore that red dress. It was a remake of the ball gown red dress that she wore with the train taken off. And the British media had a breakdown because she wore a red dress to a fundraiser. But obviously, she knows people at the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. And she stepped in to support them before. Support kids who receive treatment there. And so, again, she stopped by because it would appear that they have a new campaign called Make March Better. And the hospital posted photos of Meghan wearing a mask and spending time with the kids. So they wrote, "Today we were honoured to welcome LA's own, Meghan the Duchess of Sussex to the CHLA's creative oasis where she spent time painting alongside our incredible patients. Meghan's visit is part of Make March Matter, our month-long fundraising campaign supporting the life-saving care and research and innovation that happens here every day. For 125 years, this hospital has been a beacon of hope and healing. You too can make an impact. Visit makemarchmatter.org. Amazing." And I love that they called her LO's own. Yeah, tell him. Meghan is a proud Angelino. We love to see it. Tom Bauer was having a whole damn breakdown and saying how this appearance made him feel queasy. And the photos, he called the photos jarring. Saying that Meghan's brand is chaotic. Calling Meghan's brand chaotic when a whole Andrew got arrested on his birthday. Ridiculous. Yeah, this is something that Tom Bauer has been going on about Harry and Meghan in particular being obliterated. That's how you know he's being fed confidence and potentially financial incentive by the palace. Yeah, Meghan is just that girl. Right. Somebody who is absolutely not that girl is Sarah Ferguson, who has rather mysteriously gone missing. Now, there was all types of talk about Sarah's whereabouts, that she's gone to Dubai, that she's gone to Saudi, that she's in a rehab in Switzerland, that she's potentially in Ireland, that she's just hopping around trying to find someone to fund her lifestyle. Now, she is missing and her using her daughters as the scapegoat. I can't remember whether it's Beatrice or Eugenie or both of them, but they were involved in that charity helping to stop trafficking, and I think they've had to step down from that. So last week, one of the royal officers fed a particularly gross story to Becky English at the Daily Fail. A well-placed royal insider bitterly complained about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's planned April trip to Australia, and specifically complained about Meghan headlining a girls' weekend retreat in Sydney. The insider sniffed that Meghan is basically Fergie now. How do you even make that comparison? How? How is Meghan Fergie? Meghan's ventures are actually successful. Meghan was self-made. It's still self-made. And she's not begging nefarious people for money. While the insider came across as typically incandescent and stupid, I found that quote to be particularly insidious given the timeline. The timeline being Sarah Ferguson has been in the wind for months now, and since her ex-husband's arrest, absolutely no one has had any idea where Sarah is. Instead of headline after headline about Sarah's bombshell emails to Jeffrey Epstein over the mystery of her whereabouts, the British media made sure that every single story for days about Sarah involved that dumb quote. Well, this weekend, People magazine at least tried to remind everyone that Sarah is still missing. I wonder if the palace could have possibly paid her off to stay quiet somewhere. So People magazine saying, Sarah Ferguson's whereabouts remain unknown following the arrest of her ex-husband, the former Prince Andrew, even as her daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, retain their palace homes, raising questions about where the former Duchess of York will live when she returns to the UK. Ferguson, 66, has not been seen in public since December 2025, when she attended the christening of her granddaughter, Princess Beatrice's now 1-year-old daughter Athena, and is believed to be abroad as her ex-husband's dramatic fall from grace takes another turn. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor is also 66 and was arrested on February 19th on suspicion of misconduct in public office, and as of late January, people understood that the former Duchess of York planned to spend time overseas as she mulled her next moves. Ferguson has reportedly spent time at wellness centres in Switzerland and in Ireland in recent months. The Daily Mail previously reported that she checked into a recovery centre in Switzerland from just after Christmas until the end of January. In February, the outlet report, what would she be doing in that recovery centre? Like, what is she recovering from? This woman, and only for a month? I mean, for sure she has spending habit issues. In February, the outlet reported that she jetted to Ballyliffin, a lodge and spa, and a remote wellness retreat in Dongar Island, returning to the coast she previously praised as her refuge in a 2024 TikTok. One sec, folks. While both Andrew and Ferguson have been forced out of their long-time home at Royal Lodge, with Andrew now living on the Sarandon estate in Norfolk and Ferguson believed to have been house hunting in Windsor, their daughters still hold the keys to royal residences of their own. The royal residences serve as the second homes for the princesses, who are primarily based elsewhere. Andrew is widely reported to have pushed for his daughters to retain the properties, which they rent through a private arrangement with King Charles. The rental deal was made with their father, as he wanted them to have a foothold in the royal palaces. The Times further reported that while Andrew was responsible for covering his daughter's rent, it is not clear if they are now responsible for covering their own costs. How would Andrew pay, though? With what money? I mean, if he had his pension, I guess, and it's probably just paying Charles the peanut fee. So as I said last week, I'm not going to argue that Beatrice and Eugenie need to be included everywhere or that they need to keep their royal homes, especially when both women have other non-royal homes. But it is what it is, and the sooner Beatrice and Eugenie come to terms with their new reality, the better. Still, several things are crazy to me. In their mother's absence, Beatrice and Eugenie are absolutely being thrown under the bus by the monarchy and the institution. Their uncle King Charles would happily draw this out for months if it meant that people would stop asking him what he knew about Andrew's dealings with Epstein. Prince William is simply a hateful person who wants to alienate as much of his family as possible. 2, it's more than possible that if Charles continues to engage in this deal with Prince Andrew, Andrew might be the one to start talking about what Charles knew and when. This is all a house of cards for the monarchy, and I don't know how much longer they can continue to scapegoat Beatrice and Eugenie. Also, where the F is Fergie? It's crazy that no one can find her, or the British media isn't devoting any energy to looking for her. They're all too busy doing the palace's dirty work. I don't even know if anybody... I think that the reason they're not looking for her is because they've been told to not look for her. Because they don't want the drama that she brings when she's around. Or they know exactly where she is, and they've been given orders not to say anything. Yeah, she needs to be investigated too. And notice we had all of the drama about Andrew, and then the war started, and then nobody's even talking about this anymore, and nobody's even questioning, well, what about all the other people involved in the Epstein files? Yeah, Fergie knows too much. I mean, I think that Beatrice and Eugenie should face some accountability, but they're not the main culprits here. The focus should be on, first and foremost, on Andrew, and then for her own dealings with Epstein, on Fergie. Dear oh dear. What, you grew up hearing that to be a royal was to be, it was a fairy tale. But what is this? This is not a fairy tale. This is an absolute nightmare. Who would want this? Does this look glamorous to you? Is this the fairy tale that you were told when you were a kid? This is a nightmare. I don't know who would want this, other than Kate. Because she tried for 10 years to get it, and here she is, pouring a beer in Borough Market. This is what it means to be royal now. This is royal duties. Absolutely sad. They don't know what they're doing. This is what Liza Ravencroft is telling William to do to distract from his woes. This is the best Liza Ravencroft could come up with. Let's just show up somewhere and do something. Completely unorganized. I mean, Kate's out here pouring beers. Meanwhile, wasn't it an Alcoholics Anonymous charity that she didn't see for like 8 years, and they called her out on camera for not seeing them for 8 years? I'm pretty sure that was actually like an Alcoholics Anonymous charity or something. And I bet she hasn't seen them since. But here she is, pouring a beer. Yeah, it's a royal nightmare they brought on themselves, Wendy. Renita, you said Sarah borrowed hundreds of thousands of dollars from Epstein. She can't hide from that because it's not going away. Indeed. The emails are out there. Anyway, with all that said, thank you everyone for coming as usual to the podcast. I'm so glad that I finally got to do a podcast today. So glad to have spent some time with you. I do miss it on the days that I don't do podcasts, by the way. It's just either I had so much to do that day and I'm so exhausted that I just can't sit down and I don't have the brain power to do a podcast, and I do miss it when I don't get to do it. So it's always lovely when I come back. All right, folks. You enjoy the rest of your Sunday, the rest of your Mother's Day. And yeah, I will see you in tomorrow's podcast. See what the week brings us. And it won't be too long. What's another half month before we get to see Harry and Meghan Down Under. So the countdown to that begins. Ciao.